Hey everybody, we are back at Knott's Berry Farm. Taste of Knott's. It's their new dining and merch experience. Was it $30 a person?
About 30 with the annual pass, maybe a little bit more without.
And it allows us to access the park. A lot of what we love, obviously not the ride, so not everything, but a bunch of what we love. So we're gonna take you around, show you some of the food, show you some of the merch.
Yeah, we have like 35 items that we can taste, but we only get 5 tastings per card, so we're going to have to select our 5 carefully.
All right, let's start looking around. All right, first up, our top priority, Wagon Wheel Pizza, the boysenberry meatballs. You'll try that mac and cheese pizza too.
Hey everyone, so we made our first stop. Actually, we made 2 stops. We went to the Wagon Wheel Pizza where we got the boysenberry meatballs, which we're super excited for because we haven't had them in quite a while. And then we got the mac and cheese pizza slice here. And then I stopped at the Spurs booth and I got the boysenberry breaded chicken tender on a waffle with fire honey. So I'm going to give these a try and see how they work out. So So the meatballs have a very familiar taste. They taste like they always do. Boysenberry barbecue sauce. Not super sweet. Tastes great. There are the seeds from the boysenberry, but that's part of the boysenberry barbecue sauce, so very enjoyable. And then I'm very intrigued by the chicken and waffle because I don't think I've ever had that here. I don't feel like I've tried that at any of their events, or not exactly in this version. So got a bit of waffle, got a bit of chicken. So this is kind of interesting because it seems like there is a bit of spice to it, which I guess is the fired up honey that it mentioned. So it's not like super spicy, but there is a little taste of it, a little kick to it. And then the waffle, of course, is really sweet. The sugar, there's actually little pieces of sugar that you can see there. And so enjoyable, tasty, kind of sweet, kind of salty. So that works for you, then it's cool. And then the mac and cheese pizza has a lot of mac and cheese on it, so try it. So as would be expected, super cheesy, because obviously there's all the cheese on top, and then there's the cheese from the actual mac and cheese. So the pizza crust is actually not as noticeable because there's so much mac and cheese on it. But I like all 3 items. I don't know how often we'll be getting them, but they're all good, and I would definitely get them all again.
Deputy Mayor Milton C. Howell.
All right, similar to Taste of Calico, we've got some pop-up entertainment around the park, and there actually seems to be more of it, so we'll try to bring you some of those performances. They do not put a schedule out for them, similar to what they've done with Scary Farm in the past. They don't want it to be kind of formalized, and definitely in this era, they don't want people gathering in different spots, just waiting. But you have these little pop-up performances. They all seem to link to some spot where you've got lines. People are obviously physically distanced here, but then they got a little bit of entertainment here with the awesome deputy mayor.
But dude, you're waiting in line to get lemonade. Now hold on a minute. It ain't just lemonade. This is watermelon lemonade. Usually they mix different stuff. Sometimes they have basil in the lemonade. Sometimes they have cucumber in the lemonade. Today they have watermelon. Do you like watermelon? I don't know anybody that doesn't.
All right, they have some specific Taste of Knott's merchandise this time. We've got the masks there, we've got the hats, and we've got the t-shirts.
This is the shirts, along with the pin itself.
And $16.99 for the shirt and pin combo. Always great prices for the families. And I know we talked about this with Taste of Calico, but for us, the biggest thing is just having access to the park. And I know for some people, it's all about the food, for the sweet, the salty, the deep fried, whatever it might be, the merch, all that. And it's all cool, and we're glad they do some good stuff with it. But for us, we just love being able to access the park. And so having Fiesta and Boardwalk added is really great, but obviously you just can't beat Ghost Town. Also, like the Calico event, Taste of Knott's has a variety of booths with crafty items on display from unique vendors. So if you're looking to do a little shopping, it's a nice way to support some small businesses. Head over here to Miss Doolittle's and pick up a boysenberry hat or other fun items. And always worth the price of admission. For us Halloween fans, haunt fans, it's Halloween all year round in Boot Hill Cemetery. Wish there was a little different music playing, but hey, take what we can get in these times. All right, we made our way to Fiesta. We have some access to some new parts of the park that we haven't for a while. And first up, trying something from the Cantina.
Yeah, so this is the shrimp Southwest salad with cilantro lime dressing. So it looks really good if you're okay with the greens type of lettuce. It looks like it has cheese, corn, black beans, and 3 shrimp. And then the cilantro lime dressing comes on the side here. So, I'm going to take a try here and see what I think. So the dressing is very vinegary, but it's good. Yeah, I don't taste too much beyond the vinegar. The lime isn't very prominent, at least not in this bite that I've had. So let's see. So the shrimp has a really good taste to it. It has a little bit of, not spicy, but it has a good taste to it, good texture, and it has kind of like a kind of grilled taste to it. So the shrimp is very tasty, and then the rest of it just kind of complements it. So I definitely think I'm going to be getting this again because it's also kind of nice to have a salad mixed in with all the other kind of fried stuff that we've been having and all the heavier things. This is kind of light and tasty, so I definitely can see getting this multiple times.
All right, one quick thing on strategy. So we are here on opening day, and as it gets later into the evening, cooling off on this 100-degree day, things are getting a little more crowded, but you can still find short lines with the food, and in general, the longest wait we've seen so far for food is about 10 minutes, so the lines are very manageable. That said, make sure to check on the card. If you can find many of the items at multiple booths, or I should say at least 2 booths in some cases. But also there's so many items to try, you can kind of make your way around the park. I think what we've seen with the lines, the waits for Taste of Calico and now Taste of Knott's is simply that it's much like the physical distancing. Is it's really easy to distance yourself from people. You just have to want to. You know, if you go into an area where it's looking a little crowded, you move away from it. And the same thing here with the lines. I mean, there's been items that we've wanted to get and we're like, well, we'll come back when there's less of a line. And we've been able so far, I think the longest we've waited for anything is maybe 5 minutes. So it's been very doable. And thankfully, our prized treat, the boysenberry meatballs, there has been almost no line for down by Ghost Rider. All right, next up we are heading over to the Churro Factory to check out the French toast churro sticks with buttercream caramel dipping sauce. So they give you quite a bit, or at least in this serving they did. It's good. It's been definitely a while since we've had any. I mean, honestly, it's been a long time since I've had a churro here at all. These ones are really sugary. The dip that it has, it's kind of interesting mix because the sugar's throughout it, and the caramel's kind of on the bottom part there, so you have to kind of dig down to get that. But it's not too sweet. I have a pretty low tolerance for sweets, to be honest. and I'm pretty okay with it. So it's something that actually works for me, because a lot of times I'm not big into super sweet stuff. So good stuff. All right, and then the relax zone returns. The old Mystery Lodge spot. You can head on in, take your mask off, and obviously keeping your distance. It's the only spot in the park, at least to our knowledge, the only spot in the park where you're allowed to take your mask off without eating or drinking. Obviously, any of the tables work fine, or spots, as long as you are eating or drinking. They've also changed the rule, or clarified, as Disney has, that you are only, that you have to be distanced and kind of stationary when eating and drinking. So not wanting people to wander around taking their masks off. And there we go. Just some distance spots. You can take your mask off. You got hand sanitizer, all that. We prefer it as a queue to a haunt. We prefer it as a Mystery Lodge, but we'll definitely happily take it as a relax zone for now. And another one of our pop-up performers here.
It's empty. It's empty.
Interacting with those below.
I'm gonna have.
So this is really interesting. They've
Bam
replaced the
Bam
DJ
Brad
over
will
here,
play
and
the
they've moved him
village.
over onto the
The
boardwalk.
villager that's,
But they are doing like
has problems in
virtual
normal
concert
life,
here with
but
Crazy
he's
Kirk and the
brilliant
Hillbillies.
genius
So
when it comes to
it's
playing
Crazy Kirk and the
percussive
Hillbillies
instruments.
with
Bam
what seems to be
Bam!
a new performance
Show 'em what you can do. Bam, bam.
somewhere probably from the last week or two. So there's no audience. And they recorded them, and
Playing
then
the title role.
they're
The
here
villain,
playing a
and in
concert
this
to
particular piece,
those sitting here.
The villain is the title role.
We were just talking about how much we miss Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies. Loved them back at Disneyland, love them at Knott's. It's kind of sad not having them here. So a really interesting and creative way to have them here. Definitely not as good as in person, but we'll take it. And continuing closed parts of the park are this section of Boardwalk here. Easier for their food access and all of that to kind of keep it closed off, and also obviously keep Berry Tales, the facades, the company store, all of that fresh. And also you've got Camp Snoopy continues to be closed off. So those are the two sections of the park that do not have access. But Cordy's is open. So that's kind of fun. The candy shop has opened as well. Those are two spots that had been closed and are finally reopened. So Cordy's, it's mostly the same stuff you can find in the rest of the park right now. No different pins or anything like that, but it's neat having it open for myself whenever I take my mom here. This is like her favorite stop. It's one of her favorite stores, so it's just kind of neat to see it reopen. But you got your Catawampus stuff, your Boysenberry stuff. It's been some new masks hitting in the last few weeks here. Got this one with all the coaster symbols. There's a couple of these. We've got a new backdrop there that they added, I guess, when they put the plexiglass in as well. And I believe the same pin assortment currently is what we got over at Virginia's. So, and then the candy shop's reopened, but the self-serve style candy is a thing of the past right now. So all the candy available is packaged.
Why?
Why would you ever get rid
This
of
is
it?
another one of those pop-up
You lost
performances
it.
here.
Well,
They
if you
are
ever need
in
a
line,
repair,
it
I'm a
says, for
VCR
Sky
repairman.
Cabin.
Stand.
And everything they got
He's
is
gonna make a
retro.
comeback.
He's the best one in
All
Stanford,
sorts of
he really is.
stickers
Yeah.
from like 30th anniversary for Camp
I'm a
Snoopy
VCR
and all sorts of
repairman.
stuff.
So whatever you need, Big Ron's Repair in Stanton.
You do?
That is correct.
Is it a picture or a video?
What is this?
He's doing one of those videos.
Oh, hi.
I still can't figure out how to video on this. Are you zooming in?
Thanks, Albert.
Thanks. I hope you check out our
They're just
vlog. I'll
in
post
line
a picture of us taking a picture.
until this opens, I guess.
You got it.
Three
3 keys, 1 K.
Oh.
What are you all doing here, by the way?
Well, we're obviously settling in because we're waiting to be first in line for when the Sky Cabin opens up again, which should be any week now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
Well, we've only permanently been here for the last day, but we've been here on and off for several weeks.
But now we've been allowed to stay
Yeah.
more permanently
Yeah.
now.
It's a long story. We met here,
Okay.
and we had our first kiss
Up at the top.
up at the top
Yeah.
here.
On the side
And so we're waiting for it to open.
Perfect.
So romantic.
Like for an anniversary or something? Or
Just because.
We celebrate our anniversary, almost every week.
hmm
Sometimes twice a week if it's a good week.
And where do you live?
Riverside.
Riverside. That's a drive. We walk. We live in East Stanton.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very walkable area.
We live at the Leaky Acres Trailer Park.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm a VCR repairman.
Okay.
So a nice bonus these days when it's open till like 9 p.m. on the Friday Saturdays is getting the lights. So being back on the boardwalk, seeing hang time all lit up, and just seeing things come a little bit alive, some stuff we've not seen for a while is great. We found some of our favorite times at Knott's during these tasting events has just been that little bit of time as it's getting dark, just taking pictures of ghost town, all that all lit up. So now we have even more of exposure to that. All right, we are wrapping up here for the first night of Taste of Knott's. Super excited to be back in the park. Super excited for all the treats. What do you think?
It's tons of fun, lots of room to navigate. It seemed like in the evening, lines did get a little longer, I think when people got off work. But even so, it seemed to be moving pretty well. And most of the items have like multiple locations that you can get them. So that all seemed to work pretty well. So I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed a lot of the food. We went through all but one of our tastings, so we tried quite a few things. So definitely was a nice stop today.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about it on our podcast. If you're interested, find us over anywhere you find podcasts for Parks and Cons. We'll talk more about Taste of Knott's. Had a great time. Congrats to everybody that works at Knott's that puts together this event. Thank you for giving us a safe way to enjoy the parks again. So, wrapping up here. Until next time,
But
we'll
before
see you.
that, like and subscribe. Like the video. Subscribe to our channel. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, I always forget that. All right, wrapping up. Until next time, we'll see you in line somewhere.